Now, on the ground, food, water, fuel, all in limited supply. And Erin Willing was there. She's been speaking to frustrated families. They're trying to leave as instructed before the fires flare up again.
It's been a long few days as flames rage towards homes. Now it's a long drive to escape and time is running out.
We've just been told that the SES guys want us out before Saturday.
And where have you come from this morning?
The holiday park right at the end.
And how far away is that?
Probably about 2 k's.
2 k's? How long have you been sitting here for?
It'll be 3 hours in 10 minutes.
Come close.
3 hours. You've travelled 2 k's in 3 hours and you've still got to get all the way back to Sydney.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in first gear the whole time.
With parts of the major roads now reopened, holidaymakers are finally beginning their long journey home. It is going to be a slow trip for many though, with traffic like this at a crawl and in some places banked up for kilometres.
Taken us 2 hours to get to here.
So where have you come from?
From the van park, the entrance van park.
And how far away is that?
7 k's.
7 k's and it's taken you 2 hours?
Yes.
For some, there was no question but to go.
My main concern is getting the kids home safely. I've got family that's still down here, they're packing up, ready to leave.
Others were given no choice.
We were going to stay home, we just live down here on the lake, but our daughter is worried about us, so she wants us to get out.
And some are racing against the clock.
Well, I'm 36 weeks pregnant, and if I go into labour, might not be able to get out.
For days, small towns up and down the coast have been feeling the pinch, cut off and running out of supplies.
They were stealing from the supermarket because they had to feed their family, because they had no money. People were just panicking, and especially the kids. The kids were really worried.
Sue Mazzoli runs a local shop in Sussex Inlet and says it's been bedlam.
You can't access petrol, gas ran out, chaos at the supermarket, all the ATMs are down. And the young people these days, they travel with no money. So they were even more panicked about the situation.
She's told visitors to get out of town because they're using up vital resources from locals. Your son has just delivered some much needed supplies down to you. What has he had to bring?
He's had to bring me a gas bottle. He's had to bring me a jerry can of fuel. And he's had to bring me a fridge and a generator because apparently the power's not coming back till Saturday.
As if the crawl home wasn't slow enough for those heeding the warnings, a flare-up on the side of the highway meant there was nowhere to run. Fireys are working desperately to backburn from either side to try and push those flames back into already burnt area. So it could be some time before this highway opens up once again.
We've had to stop all the tourists coming out, close the highway again. So we're now putting a burn in from Bendalong Road all the way down to Jerrawangla rest area. Okay, so we can then get all of this taken out and then we can reopen it again for the tourists.
And of course, getting these tourists out is so important before Sydney. But just how many of them have we got waiting on either side?
Either side. At the moment, we know as far back as the Tamil service station, if not further towards Bateman's Bay, slowly crawling through Ulladulla and Milton.
How long do you think that they're going to be at a standstill now?
Probably a couple of hours till we get this in, because it's about 9 kilometres that we're going to light up to make it safe. Because if this wind keeps going, it's going to keep poking out across the highway, and if the traffic is still doing their 10, 15 km/h crawl, they're going to get stuck.
It's a slow road back to safety. The blackened trees along their journey, a reminder of what's behind them and what's still to come.
It's devastating. We've just come from Sydney, so we've had fires at home too. It's just been terrible.
Yeah, got a house up at home and that's got us in trouble now. Down here's in trouble, like it's pretty bad everywhere.
And Erin Willing joins us from Lake Conjola tonight. Erin, there's poor communication for reasons that nobody can control. Supplies running out, people must be getting a bit panicky. What's the feeling?
As you can imagine, that they are frustrated and they're exhausted. Some of these people have been waiting hours on the side of the road, including the elderly and many with just young families. Now, that roadway, the Princes Highway, is the major road that connects many of these small coastal towns. And while some of the drivers have chosen to turn around and try and find another way out, for many, they simply don't have enough fuel to do so. Now, as you mentioned, they are running short on supplies, they're running short on food and water. Now, as for when the road is going to reopen, we're told that that could be some time, it could be hours, it could maybe even be tomorrow morning, which in itself does bring a new set of challenges, because if it does open up tonight, these drivers are going to have to travel in dangerous conditions through the dark. Now, for those that did manage to get up early and did get out, it has been a very slow crawl home. One person told us that it took them 9.5 hours to get from here at Lake Conjola all the way to Wollongong. Now, that's a journey that would normally take just 2 hours. Layla?
Wow, a state of emergency has been declared from tomorrow. What does that mean for everybody there?
Yeah, look, that's right. What that means is that for the local residents here and holiday makers that are still in at-risk earlier areas, they may be forced to evacuate. Now, we have spoken to some of the locals here and they say that's not going to be happening. They're not going to be going anywhere. And while the fireys have a very stern warning for them, they say that they are already stretched to the absolute limits. So if these residents are going to stay, they're going to have to be prepared to defend their homes and themselves.
OK, thank you, Erin.